Sarah Mitchell lay weakly on her hospital bed, her body still shaking from the emergency surgery that had saved her life only hours earlier. The antiseptic smell of the room mixed with the faint hum of machines, and for a moment, all she could hear was the steady beep of her heart monitor. Then, the door opened, and in walked her husband of 12 years, David Mitchell. He wasn't carrying flowers, nor did he have a comforting smile. Instead, he held a stack of papers in his hand, and his eyes were cold, almost empty. "I want a divorce," he said flatly. Sarah blinked, trying to understand if she'd heard him right. The man she had shared her life with, her dreams, her sacrifices, her entire heart was standing there, emotionless, ending it all while she was still hooked up to IVs. What David didn't know was that the woman he was abandoning in that fragile moment wasn't the powerless wife he thought she was. Just hours before her appendix ruptured, Sarah had sealed a $30.6 billion deal, a deal that would soon make her one of the most powerful businesswomen in the country. But David didn't wait for her to speak. He dropped the divorce papers on the bedside table, right next to the wilted flowers he'd brought 3 days ago, and said almost casually, "I'm marrying Jennifer." Jennifer, her best friend, the woman she had trusted more than anyone. Sarah felt her chest tighten as her heart monitor beeped faster. She stared at the man she had built a life for, the man whose career she'd secretly shaped, whose pride she had protected, whose ego she had tiptoed around. He didn't look back. He just walked out, leaving her broken, sore, and alone. What he couldn't possibly imagine was that his consultant wife secretly owned the very company where he'd just been promoted. She was also the silent investor funding his mistress's boutique, the one Jennifer bragged about over wine nights. And in just 72 hours, when her deal went public, everyone would know that the quiet woman David left in a hospital bed was the phantom CEO who held his entire future in her hands. Sarah closed her eyes, letting the pain wash over her. She had always known this day might come. Maybe not like this, not lying in a hospital bed with stitches and betrayal bleeding together, but deep down, she'd sensed it. The signs had been there for months. David's late nights at the office, the unfamiliar perfume on his shirts, the way Jennifer's eyes lingered on him during their dinner parties. Still, Sarah had hoped she was wrong. 12 years ago, when she met David at a charity gala, he had been charming, ambitious, and full of dreams. At the time, she was building Mitchell Global Investments under her maiden name, quietly creating an empire through holding companies and silent partnerships. Her father, a self-made billionaire who'd suffered through 3 failed marriages, had warned her early, "Never let anyone know the full extent of your wealth, especially not the person you fall in love with. People change when they realize you have power." Sarah had believed him. So when David came into her life, a mid-level marketing manager with grand dreams but little money, she decided to test something her father never could. Could she be loved simply for who she was, without the billions, without the power, without the name? She introduced herself as Sarah Chin, a freelance business consultant. She moved into David's modest apartment. She split the bills. She let him feel like the provider, while she quietly managed a multi-billion-dollar empire from her laptop, hidden behind spreadsheets and encrypted emails. For years, she balanced both lives, the devoted wife who cooked dinner and the invisible mogul whose firm controlled companies across 3 continents. She'd told herself it was love, that keeping her identity secret was a way to protect what they had. But now, staring at those divorce papers, she realized she'd only been protecting his ego. Her mind drifted to the day she met Jennifer Hartley. 3 years ago, during a Nexus Corporation retreat, the 2 women had bonded instantly. Jennifer was smart, stylish, and ambitious, and Sarah had seen a little of herself in her. When Jennifer spoke about her dream of opening a high-end boutique, Sarah had helped her. She'd arranged the investors, connected her with suppliers, even provided funding, all under the disguise of a silent partner. What Jennifer never knew was that her mysterious investor, S.M. Chen, was actually her best friend. Sarah. The affair had started about 18 months ago. Sarah knew before David ever confessed because when you own the companies behind the banks, you see everything. The secret credit card charges from fancy hotels, the expensive jewelry that appeared out of nowhere, all of it went through systems Sarah controlled. Each transaction was a heartbreak she endured quietly, telling herself that love could still be repaired. But love couldn't fix betrayal. The sound of the door opening snapped her out of her thoughts. A nurse entered, checked her vitals, and frowned. "Your blood pressure's high. Are you in pain?" Sarah forced a weak smile. "I'm fine." When the nurse left, Sarah reached for her phone. Her encrypted messages were overflowing. Her executive team had finalized the Singapore deal, the acquisition of Patterson Industries. 30.6 billion, 42 countries. It would make her company one of the top 10 investment firms in the nation. The announcement was scheduled for Friday, 3 days from now, and when the world learned that S.M. Chen was actually Sarah Mitchell, David would finally know the truth. Her phone buzzed again. A message from Marcus Webb, her CFO and one of the few people who knew her secret life. "Congratulations on closing Patterson. Do you still want to go public Friday or postpone given your health? Also, I saw David leaving the parking lot earlier. He didn't look worried. Everything okay?" Sarah's fingers danced across the screen. "Proceed with Friday's announcement. Everything's fine. Send me David Mitchell's employment file from Nexus and Jennifer Hartley's investment portfolio." She paused, then added one more line. "If he wants a divorce, he'll get it, but it'll be on my terms." Meanwhile, David Mitchell couldn't stop smiling as he drove away from the hospital. For the first time in years, he felt free. Free from the dull routine of his marriage, from the wife who never truly understood his ambitions. Jennifer was waiting for him at their new apartment, wearing the red dress he loved, holding champagne and grinning from ear to ear. "It's done," he told her. "I filed the papers. I'm free," Jennifer squealed and threw her arms around his neck. "Finally, now we can start our life together." They kissed, laughed, and planned their future like two teenagers in love. Jennifer talked excitedly about her upcoming meeting with an investor. "You know that big firm, Mitchell Global Investments?" she said. Their CEO, S.M. Chen, finally responded. "I have a meeting Friday. If they invest, I can open 3 new boutiques. Can you imagine, David? My name on stores all across the city." David frowned slightly. "Mitchell Global? That name sounds familiar." Jennifer brushed it off. "They're huge. One of the top firms in the country. Very private. But this could change everything for us." David smiled again, the concern fading. "And Nexus has a big announcement Friday, too. They're talking about new investors. Restructuring could be a promotion." Everything felt perfect. He had love, success, and a future that finally matched the dreams he'd always had. He couldn't wait to show everyone, especially Sarah, that leaving her was the right decision. Friday morning came crisp and bright, the kind of day that hinted at transformation. Sarah stood before her mirror, buttoning her charcoal gray suit. The reflection staring back didn't look like the quiet consultant anymore. This woman had fire in her eyes, elegance in her posture, and power in her aura. Her hair was styled to perfection, her jewelry subtle yet worth a fortune. Her doctor had told her to rest. But there would be no rest today. Today, the world and David would meet S.M. Chen. Marcus picked her up in the company limo. "Ready?" he asked. Sarah took a deep breath. "Let's start with Nexus." The Nexus Corporation's headquarters glimmered like a temple of glass and steel. Inside, David sat at the executive table, laughing with Jennifer, completely unaware that the owner of the company was minutes away from walking through that door. When Sarah entered the boardroom with Marcus and her team, silence fell like thunder. Every head turned. David's face went pale, confusion flashing across his features. Marcus stepped forward. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Marcus Webb, CFO of Mitchell Global Investments. Today, you'll meet the person who has quietly shaped this company's success for the past 8 years." He gestured to Sarah. This is SM Chen, founder and CEO of Mitchell Global Investments, and as of this week, the majority shareholder of Nexus Corporation. You could have heard a pin drop. Jennifer's eyes widened. David's jaw dropped. Sarah stepped forward, her voice calm and sharp. Good morning. Some of you may know me by another name, Sarah Mitchell. She looked directly at David. Yes, that's Sarah Mitchell. Gasps rippled around the table. For years, I've kept my professional life separate from my personal one. I built this company in silence, investing in people and ideas I believed in, including Nexus. As of Monday, Mitchell Global holds a 51% controlling stake. There will be restructuring. Her gaze locked on David. Mr. Mitchell, that includes your role as Senior VP of Marketing. Your position will be dissolved. You'll receive 6 months severance and full benefits. David shot up, face flushed. You? You're firing me? You're SM Chen? That's insane! You lied to me. I protected you, Sarah said coolly. I built your career, David. Every promotion you've had, every opportunity you've gotten, I arranged it. And you repaid me by sleeping with my best friend. Jennifer stood abruptly, shaking. Wait, you're the investor for Hartley Boutique? Yes, Sarah said softly. And as of today, I'm pulling out. You'll lose 100% of my funding, Jennifer. You can start over with your own money this time. Jennifer's voice cracked. You can't do this! I already did. The room erupted in whispers. Sarah turned back to David. You dumped me in a hospital bed, David. I was recovering from surgery while you signed divorce papers to marry someone else. My father warned me that men like you couldn't handle powerful women. I wanted to believe you were different. I was wrong. David's voice broke. Sarah, please. She cut him off. I have a press conference in an hour. If reporters ask about my personal life, I'll tell them the truth that I hid my success to protect my marriage, and my husband left me for someone who looked easier to control. Goodbye, David. Spend your severance wisely. And with that, she turned and walked out, leaving behind the man who had never really seen her. The press conference was chaos. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted, the air buzzed with electricity. Sarah stood at the podium, radiant and composed. She spoke about the Patterson acquisition, the company's future, and the vision for growth. But soon, the questions shifted. Miss Chen, why reveal yourself now after all these years? I believed my work should speak for itself, she said. But sometimes you can't lead from the shadows forever. I'm R. Is it true you lived under another identity? Yes, she answered calmly. My full name is Sarah Mitchell Chen. I built this company while living a simple life with my husband. I wanted love built on truth, not money. I thought keeping my power hidden would protect us. I was wrong. What changed this week? Someone asked. Sarah's expression softened. I had emergency surgery. While I was recovering, my husband served me divorce papers so he could marry another woman. It taught me something. When people love you only for what they think you can't offer, they don't really love you. I'm done making myself small. Her words hit like thunder. Within hours, headlines exploded online. Husband divorces wife in hospital learns she's a billionaire CEO. Social media was on fire. Some called her ruthless, others called her inspiring. Sarah didn't care. She had spent too long hiding. Later that evening, as she sat in her penthouse, her real home, not the modest apartment she'd shared with David, her phone buzzed again. David. Sarah, please. I didn't know. I made a mistake. Jennifer's gone. Can we talk? She stared at the message for a long time, then deleted it. Marcus noticed. David? He asked. Sarah nodded. He's sorry now. What are you going to do? She looked out at the city skyline glowing below. I'm going to heal, she said. From the surgery. From the lies. From years of pretending to be less than I am. And then, I'm going to live completely, openly, as myself. She smiled faintly. No more hiding. No more shrinking. And definitely no more loving men who can't handle my truth. Marcus grinned. That's the Sarah Mitchell I know. By nightfall, the world had a new name on its lips. Sarah Mitchell Chen, the billionaire CEO who'd risen from heartbreak to take back her power. And as the city lights reflected in her eyes, she whispered to herself the only thing that truly mattered now: freedom. And somewhere, in another home, another woman scrolling through her phone might watch Mitchell's story and find courage in her quiet strength. So, to every woman who has ever been underestimated, every woman who has been told to stay quiet, every heart that has been bruised but not broken, remember this: silence is not weakness. Sometimes, silence is power wrapped in grace. Because when a woman chooses peace over revenge, her victory shakes the world in ways noise never could. Thank you for watching. If Mitchell's story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful emotional stories of strength, dignity, and truth.